There's a psychological trap that secretly controls your decisions every day, and it operates so deep within your mind that you never even notice it's there. Most people don't realize that a hidden mental shortcut is shaping their beliefs, their actions, and even their memories without their consent. This isn't about weakness. It's about a powerful, invisible force hardwired into your brain's very design, making you see the world not as it is, but as you expect it to be. 1. Recognition of the trap. The trap works by filtering reality through your existing beliefs, making you selectively notice and remember information that supports what you already think is true. People experience this as a feeling of being right, as if the world is constantly validating their opinions. Psychology calls this powerful cognitive bias the confirmation bias. This psychological mechanism was designed by your brain for survival, creating mental shortcuts to process a flood of information quickly. Your brain falls for this because it's metabolically expensive to reevaluate every belief from scratch. Instead, it favors evidence that reinforces existing neural pathways, saving energy and creating a stable, predictable model of the world. 2. How the trap triggers. This psychological pattern is activated in situations where your beliefs or identity are challenged. The trap triggers when you scroll through social media, read the news, or discuss a controversial topic. If you hold a strong political view, your brain will automatically highlight articles that support your party and dismiss or ignore those that criticize it. If you've just bought a new car, you'll suddenly start noticing that same model everywhere, reinforcing your belief that you made a popular and smart choice. Psychology research reveals this trap affects almost everyone, especially when emotions are high or a decision is tied to our self-image. The trap works because of how your psychology naturally operates to protect you from the discomfort of being wrong. 3. Real-world examples. The trap's influence is everywhere. Consider an investor who believes a certain stock is a sure thing. They will actively seek out news articles and analyst reports that praise the company's potential, while unconsciously glossing over warnings about its financial instability. You see it in a manager who has a favorite employee. They will interpret that employee's average performance as exceptional and another's exceptional work as merely adequate, because it confirms their initial judgment. This behavioral trap even affects your health. If you believe a particular diet is the only way to be healthy, you'll collect anecdotes of its success and ignore scientific studies that show its risks, all to confirm your commitment. 4. Psychological consequences. When you repeatedly fall into this trap, the consequences are significant. Your worldview becomes a narrow echo chamber, making you more polarized and less tolerant of different perspectives. You avoid admitting mistakes because the psychological discomfort of challenging a core belief, known as cognitive dissonance, is too great. This can lead to doubling down on bad decisions like continuing to invest in a failed project or staying in an unhealthy relationship, because your brain is busy finding reasons to justify the initial choice rather than objectively assessing the current reality. Over time, this trap stunts personal growth, erodes critical thinking, and can leave you vulnerable to manipulation by those who know how to exploit this fundamental aspect of human psychology. 5. Why your brain falls for it. Your brain falls for this because it is fundamentally lazy, but for a very good reason, cognitive efficiency. Evolution programmed your brain to fall for this trap to make rapid, good enough decisions in a dangerous world. For our ancestors. Quickly confirming that a rustling in the bush was a predator based on a pre-existing belief was more important for survival. Then, pondering alternative, less threatening possibilities. This trap exploits how your memory naturally works. It's easier for your brain to retrieve memories that align with your current beliefs. This trap works because your brain created this shortcut to save precious mental energy, creating a coherent story that feels safe and certain, even if it's not entirely accurate. 6. Breaking free from it. Psychology-backed strategies can help you escape this trap, but it requires conscious effort. The first step is to actively seek out disconfirming evidence. When you form an opinion, make it a rule to find 3 credible sources that argue against your viewpoint. This forces your brain to engage with opposing ideas instead of automatically dismissing them. Another powerful technique is to argue from the other side's perspective, a method known as steelmanning, where you construct the strongest possible version of the opposing argument. Finally, practice intellectual humility by adding phrases like "I could be wrong," but double quotes to your thinking. This creates psychological distance from your beliefs, making it easier to change your mind without feeling like a personal failure. This psychological trap isn't a flaw, it's how your brain naturally works. Psychology shows understanding it is the first step to breaking free. The confirmation bias was designed to keep you safe and efficient, but in our modern world of information overload, it can lock you in a prison of your own making. Once you recognize the pattern, you can override the autopilot. You can make conscious choices instead of unconscious reactions, opening your mind to a richer, more accurate understanding of the world and yourself. If you love discovering psychological traps and learning how to protect yourself from hidden psychological manipulation, subscribe, because the next video reveals 9 more psychological traps that control your decisions daily.